Welcome, reading number 2. You chose Justice. This is the beautiful card that you chose. Isn't she sweet? It feels like a she. You know, a cute imagery on this card. I'll just take a minute to look at it so I can get a little more light on there for you. So in this deck, they've named the energies in there. So we have Lady and we have Creed. So I like this card because I like to call this Lady Justice. It's also the number 11. So if that means anything to you guys, but it is in reverse. So sometimes I like to give you a little close-up of what the reverse looks like, just in case there's any imagery or pictures or anything that catches your eye. I don't think I ever noticed her little fin at the bottom before. I wonder if she's like a mermaid energy. Let's go to the book. So, Lady Justice. I'm gonna bring these feathers back a little bit. Also, look at like the way that the energies, like the stars, I call them, like, because of the glitter. Let me see if I can go down a little bit. They're not too flashy today. Normally they're really flashy, but this new moon in Gemini is really, it feels like a very intense, somber energy. Not bad, not good. Like, I don't like to label things like that anyway, but you know what I mean? Like, it feels very, I felt a lot of indifference in this. Like, when I started putting your reading together, I started to feel like a lot of indifference. And without even starting in the book or anything, I felt relationships. Like, I feel like, we've got, Lady Justice and we've got Creed, but also I feel like these two little birds are, trying to like bring her stars. Like, I feel like that's spirit bringing those to you. And even if you're male identified, it's about the divine feminine energy. Also, they wanted me to draw attention to, look at this snail up here. So look up snail spirit medicine if you're pulled to it. Okay? But we're going to get to that. Okay, let's see. Now that feels better. I just felt like, yeah. Also, just to let you guys know, I was perfectly fine. And then right before I hit the play button, I just got like, or actually even before that, I started getting these shooting pains up my back, like really, really bad. And I was feeling like for some of you, it's really time to get into some type of yoga practice or at least stretching and like taking good care of yourself. Because I'm feeling like your physical, like I just feel a lot of stiffness. All of a sudden I just felt stiff and yeah, it didn't feel like mine. Oh, did you see that one little blue right here? It's just kind of start to spark up. Okay. So in the book in reverse, it says dishonesty, setbacks, and abuse of power. So, this reading is all about like new beginnings, like, what messages from spirit do you need to hear about, what new beginnings, what new tack you need to take kind of thing. So to, start this new moon cycle. And the keywords for the justice card are truth, balance, fairness, equality, and harmony. And it says the dependable Lady Justice stands for a true balance of the conscious and the subconscious mind. Weighing all sides with fairness and full awareness, Lady Justice stands for what is right and determines the best course of action with care. Her furry green companion named Creed stays by her side, displaying before her a golden set of balanced scales. Yeah, let's go in there. There we are. And look at that. I love that. Do you see, for those of my witchy people, do you see that? Do you see that? I mean, we've got, it's like two different eyes, but actually this one right here, I got the more of like the hand, like the, the eye or whatever so I'm trying to show you with my hand. Gosh, not the Eye of Horus, but you can look at it that way too. But no, it's it's like a symbol of protection, and it's a hand with an eye in the middle of the palm. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what that looked like to me. So take it for whatever you want. But also I like that the eyes are different, but they're the same, right? They're still imbalanced. They're still imbalanced. Oh, forgive me. I don't know what's going on. There's a lot of energy channeling through me today. Okay, so weighing all sides with fairness and full awareness, Lady Justice stands for what is right and determines the best course of action with care. Her furry green companion named Creed stays by her side, displaying before her a golden set of balanced scales. A choice must be made in order for you to take a new direction in life. As all decisions influence the course of fate, give careful consideration by exploring different points of view. When examining choices, find a balance between your conscious and inner desires. By remaining honest in your actions and acting with integrity, fate will turn in your favor. Yeah, so are you having some areas where you're having a little lack of integrity? Hey, listen, this Mercury retrograde was no fucking joke. We are all feeling it. When I looked down, it was 557, so that's your angel number, at least. And for those of you who are new here, if you hear me throwing stuff out, I always put it, or not always, but if Spirit calls me to, always look in the description box under readings recommendations. There's a lot of stuff there. Like I just remembered at the last reading number 1, I just remembered a spirit animal there, and I was like, okay, I'm going to put that down. So if you're into that, you'll go to that. Like this one, we got the snail. And I'm going to say, Creed looks like, what did they say? I think Creed's an octopus. That's the first thing I saw, like when I saw Creed. So I'm going to put an octopus spirit medicine is so amazing. And it's so old and grounded and lots of wisdom, lots of great. So look up, octopus spirit medicine as well. Spirit animal, whatever feels good to you. Yeah, because it just says companion, furry green companion Creed. And I know that you wouldn't think of a, octopus is furry, but with all those tentacles, I kind of am feeling octopus energy. Oh, wait, they're hers. Oh, that's interesting. So she has tentacles, but it looks like Creed does too. I say whatever feels good to you. The fact that it came out, I always feel like things mean things. Even in here, like these look like moth wings. So you may even want to look up like moth spirit medicine. But also look at how Lady Justice has the sword. And I love that we're in the new moon and Gemini energy, and swords are all about communication. Cutting through the bullshit, right? Like when I see the swords, I think of the air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. So it could be, especially with the signs, with the scales of justice. What did you say, Spirit? Hold on. Okay, so we're going to pull some more cards for clarity. I just wanted to check in with Spirit about something really quick, but we're on the right track. We're doing good. So what messages do we need to hear, Spirit? What is reading to any more clarify? Oh, this card just jumped out at me, like literally jumped out of the deck. Oh, love it, love it, love it. 10 of Swords. Lament. Ah. This card is beautiful. You know how you can like look at cards or have a deck and see something a gazillion times and never, like, I don't ever remember seeing this card. And look at this. Another snail / slug. I think you should look up snail, because I know that they're going in the shell, but slug has been coming up too. So I think I know they're completely different and they have different spirit medicine too. So, but definitely snail. And interesting that we've got another sword right here. Interesting. And this is how it feels for me, to be honest. This is how it feels. Like you're the one always trying to make everything fair, always trying to make everything good. You want to make sure everything's balanced and energy's great, but what does that do for you? You're exhausted. Literally, her name is Lament. And if you don't know what Lament looks up, boy, what's going on? If you don't know what lament means, look it up. I mean, her face says it all. She's lamenting. She's feeling a little sad and, not so happy. I'm going to grab that. So the 10 of Swords, the key words are realization, renewal, inevitability, endings, and beginnings. Feeling at her lowest point. Let's go in and give Lament a little... Actually, I feel like Justice will be there to kind of cheer her on and give her some support. Okay. Feeling at her lowest point, lament unleashes the power of sheer will to lessen the impact that turmoil brings. Kneeling by a river of new beginnings, I love it, with the sword of fortitude on her lap, she summons her inner strength to find a fresh outlook. Nine of Swords stands far behind lament, indicating that her worries are farther from her than she realizes. Nice. If hopes and dreams seem to have turned to dust, new ones shall indeed arise. Your thoughts today create tomorrow. Move upward and onward and allow nothing to hold you back. And yes, oh my gosh, I just spoke about this. If you didn't watch the beginning video of this, messages from Spirit for the Collective, that led you to this reading, I highly recommend you go back and watch it, because we talked a lot about this. But this particular new moon in Gemini is really about letting go of the past and stop holding on and clinging on to something that's over. You may be a Libra or have Libra in your chart, or it could be a Libra, because I keep coming back to that, but also just the air signs. You could be an air sign or your significant other. This particular moment right now, I am feeling like this is about, it's time to let go. You know what you have to do. You know who this is. You know what's going on. Also, this feels like a moth to me too here, and it looks like a heart down here. At first, I thought it was maybe a turtle shell. But I mean, these imagery, it's whatever you make of it. I love this deck. The first time I saw this deck in a reading, I think it was from Ancient Star Queen, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, that is the cutest deck I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, I have to get that deck. But also like, yeah, like you're a lady, like even like I said, if you're male identified, it's like, it's the energy of like, you're a lady, and you're very proper, and you're very kind, and you're very giving, and you give and you give and you give and you give. But even, I spoke about this in the last reading, everybody has a breaking point. Everybody has a breaking point. We're seeing it happen right now. All the different levels of where people are finally like drawing the line and saying like, enough is enough. Like this shooting, they're like, this is fucking crazy. This is crazy. What is going on? I actually got, I did some downloading from Spirit before this, in that reading that I just spoke of before this. And one of the things that I was getting is like, yeah, we really need to put out as much love and happiness and joy into the planet as we can, because there's so much darkness out there. But if you are around somebody that keeps draining you, like look at how colorful Justice is. Like look at how colorful and beautiful their outfit is. And then you look at Lament, and it's like there's color around her, but like not in her, not on her. You know what I mean? Like barely. It's like she's still got like a little bit going on in her crown chakra. She's staying alive. But, she's just like, I'm exhausted. Like I can't do anymore. I can't give anymore. I can't try anymore. And this doesn't have to necessarily be a romantic relationship, but it's definitely a relationship that has to end. It has to end. Also, Spirit just drew my eyes down to look at that little snake. There's a little snake in the water. And snakes are beautiful, but snakes are also about change and transformation. But, 10 is that you're at the end of something, right? When we're done, or, when you look at numerology, like 10s are like the end of something. You finally come to the very, very end of a phase, and now there's nowhere for you to go but forward, right? Like you have to go forward, and you just like, sometimes people take a minute, and sometimes people just wake up, and they wake up really fast where they're just like, yep, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not dealing with this anymore. I'm done. And then there will be no apologies accepted. There will be no, and not because you didn't try, and not because you didn't put in all of your love and all of your hope and all of your effort. It's just that some people are never going to change, and you cannot like get angry about it. You just have to go, I love you, and I'm going to love you and accept you for who you are. Please love and accept me for who I am, and let us move forward, and if they don't, then that's on them. But if you take off the 0 of 10, it's a 1. It's about new beginnings, And interestingly enough, I feel like that this is because this is 11 and this is 10 and it's going down. I feel like it's interesting because for some of you, like this is who you are. This is who you've always been. Like this is like your soul. This is like you're this amazing, beautiful, fight for justice, gracious, loving, feminine, divine energy, a lady energy, right? But now it's time for you to finally like go through. For some of you, the 10 is the end of that, but it's also, when you take off the 0, it's a 1. It's about the beginning of going into the dark night of the soul. And you don't have to go into the dark night of the soul in an icky situation. You can. I've done it. But just be prepared that you're going to be lamenting for a long time. You're going to be through a lot of pain and suffering. You could go through the dark night of the soul through a different way. We don't always have to take the hardest road. That's like a very third dimensional way of thinking that like it has to be difficult. It has to be hard. It's like, no, look at her. She's kind of ambiguous. She doesn't exactly have like, a look of, it's like, she's not angry. She's not sad. She's not, you know what I mean? She's just kind of like, she knows. It's like, I feel like for some of you guys, it's just soul knowledge and you know you have to move on. And for some of you, it might behoove you or help you to get like a little friend, a cat, a dog, I always say, get something that can travel with you easy. Some cats, can go on a leash. Some can't. Dogs seem to be the easiest one, but that's not necessarily true. Some people are into rats or snakes or, the fact that there's a snake here. So there's obviously something there, but yeah, I'm just feeling a lot. It's good though. Like I'm feeling ambitious energy for you guys, and Spirit wants you to look at it in a positive way because you're holding on to something. It's kind of like, this is going to sound a little morose, but it's true. It's like, imagine if this person that you're trying to get away from, that they physically died. Okay, no, we don't want to think of them dead, but they're just saying we all die. So imagine that they die before you, right? And it's like you would mourn them, you would be sad, and you would move on, but you wouldn't literally carry their dead corpse around with you. I know that sounds morose, but it's true. And that's what you're doing. You're trying to move forward carrying a dead corpse. And it's making you sad and depressed and lonely. Like, I didn't even notice that she had wings until they drew it to my attention, right? It's like her wings are down. Like, everything about her is down. Also, I cannot help but see, do you guys see a face right here? I see an eye and a mouth. It's almost like, like even them, like they've moved on and they're like sad that you're sad because they're like, dude, I'm dead. Like, it's over. Like, what are you doing? Move on. And this could be for some of you like a literal death. Maybe you lost a pet. Maybe you lost a family or a friend member or your significant other. And you're just like carrying this, dead corpse around. And they're like, you have to remember that we just live in these biological meat suits for a short period of time. We're not meant to carry them around with us when we're dead, right? That's why our soul leaves our body and we go into another one. In this matrix, in this world, the way that it's set up, we're tangible. We're blood and bone. You see me, I'm skin, right? But if I poked a needle, you would see blood come out of my finger, right? He's like, and maybe it would be just like a false illusion, right? That there was no blood coming out, but we all assume blood's going to come out. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's a whole other level. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, you guys are like at the precipice of, something really major. And also look at how small that river is. I feel like almost as if they're leaning in front of this river like it's so wide and they can't get across it, when all you'd have to do is stand up and you wouldn't even have to jump across it. You can just, walk across it. But I feel like some of you aren't, because the snake that's in your life, the snake in the water, because even though snakes, every animal, nothing's quote unquote bad or good, right? It's like the snake is a beautiful animal. There are a lot of I love snakes, and there are a lot of snakes that are completely harmless, very sweet, but there are some that bite and have venom. And I feel like for some of you, it's like you've got this snake in the water and you're afraid if you move forward, if you, even if you wait until the snake is over here. It's like a video game, right? It's like, I'm dating myself, but like when I used to play Pitfall when I was a kid in like, the early 80s, it's like you have to like jump across, right? But you have to be careful because you don't want the crocodile's mouth to be up. You don't want to fall in the crocodile. But it's kind of like, I feel like that's you guys, like that you're terrified to even jump over the river because you're afraid that something's going to jump up and bite you. Nothing's going to bite you. Nothing's going to come for you. And even if they do, you do not have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. It's their journey. It's your journey. Whatever they decide is what they decide. I feel like this wants to come here. Look at that. Look at that crystal. It's like whatever they decide and whatever you decide, but you are magic. You are pure magic. You're like this amazing magical. Ooh, whoa. What in the world? Do you see that? It's fear. Because look at that. It fell in. But look at, what's the worst that happened? It got wax on it. Big deal. When this dries, I'm going to go and take it off, and it's going to be fine. I'm going to run it underwater. It's going to be fine. And you know what else? Look at how perfectly the wick fell back in. I'll be able to relight that candle, and it didn't even, look at that, it didn't even spill. This is what I love, Spirit. You magical creatures. I love you guys, but you see where I'm going with that, right? It's like, this is you. You're like this magical, awesome, beautiful, like no matter which way you go in the light, you're just full of gold, right? Just like pure light energy. Okay. And then, let's see. And then we have this, a rock. And the rock is beautiful. And it has a lot of markings and a lot of scars. Almost looks like a face in there. But it's a little dull, right? It's not very shiny. But if you polish this rock, it'd probably be really cool looking. It's cool now, but you see what I'm saying? It's not as sparkly. And I feel like your person is still in this. Look at that. Looks like a Y or a wishbone. So if you're dealing with that kind of energy, it's really hard to, you know, like when you see these two here next to each other. And now that the light has changed, there's not much sparkle in this one anymore, is there? They had me put it on this side. Because you're like, I'll stay dull and lackluster with you. And I love that you're like wanting to stay with this person and help this person, but everybody has to help themselves. This is their own journey, and it's not your job to save them, protect them, guide them. If they want to be guided, that's one thing. But if they don't want to be, then you're forcing them to be something that they're not ready for yet. And you wouldn't ask a newborn baby to crawl or run, right? Because it needs time to grow and get strength and learn. So don't put that pressure on you or your person, you know, because I feel like you know, that's what's happening is like you're asking this person, 2158. I feel like you're asking this person to, what did you say, Spirit? Oh, you're giving them your power, which is why you're feeling so lamented, right? You're giving them your power. You're letting the snake rule your decisions. And like I said, doesn't mean it's a bad thing, snake, but they're just using the snake as a metaphor for this, for your person. You're letting them contain your boundaries of where you get to go and where you get to live. Yet you could be floating like this mermaid, right? Like you could be floating in the water, having a good time. It's like you've got wings, you can fly, but you're not using them. So what good are wings if we don't use them? And that's the, ooh, look at that, falling into the fire. You could be a fire sign too. You know, or you're dealing with a fire sign, which, hey, I'm a fire sign. I know it took me a long time to like really understand who I am and also understand that, it, you know, sometimes it's not that I'm too much, but I don't want to put somebody else's fire out. And that's kind of what I'm getting from this energy from your person, is that they're putting your fire out. So whether you're a fire sign or not, they're putting your metaphorical fire out. Okay, so the next card is the Six of Wands. Oh my gosh, and what did I just say? And wands in the tarot are the fire signs. So that is really interesting. Or fire, it's the element of fire. So Six of Wands, pizzazz and delight. So pizzazz is this beautiful creature, which is you, right? And then delight's the little mouse. Oh, what did I just say? I was going to say after that, after the snake, I was going to say, or you can have a mouse as a pet. I just watched the Suicide Squad, and this was in reverse, so they want me to show you the reverse meaning. But I just watched the Suicide Squad, and I love that character that talks to the rats. I have a witchy friend who, when I was growing up, she had a pet rat. And people thought that was so weird and creepy, you know, like especially in the 80s. They were like, that's so weird. I'm like, dude, she's fucking cool. I'm like, that's awesome. I'm like, who has a rat for a pet? Like, that wasn't common because she wasn't common. You know what I mean? Okay, so Six of Wands. So we have pizzazz and delight. And also, look at all the little butterflies coming out of their hat. Do you see that? You see the butterflies coming out of their hat? It's like they're exposing themselves and saying, look at what I can do. And fives are all about change and transformation. So I love that this is six, because six is like the hardship after the five. It's kind of like, you know, I always kind of look at, in my experience with tarot, it seems like the odd numbers are the hard ones and the even numbers are a little better, little less. Also, this blue is coming out of nowhere. So I'm feeling Arcturian energy from you guys. So if you've never worked with the Arcturians, I highly recommend that you do. The Arcturians are really powerful. They're one of the most powerful. And some even say that they are the most powerful energy in the universe. So however you want to call on them or talk to them would be up to you. I'm definitely feeling like this kind of like sparkly energy from you guys. Like I want to have some sparkle out. Okay, pizzazz, pizzazz, pizzazz. Love it. Okay, so the Six of Wands keywords are motivation, victory, success, grace, and recognition. But it was in reverse. And so when it's in reverse, it's unrecognized efforts, arrogance and pride, and fear over the outcome of a situation. And that is so what I was feeling as well. Like I was feeling that because when I saw lament, when I was looking at lament that way, I was like, it's not that you don't believe you can do it. I feel like you guys are more afraid of what's going to happen to them. Like you'll be fine, but you're more worried about what's going to happen to them. And again, you know, interestingly enough, they brought this up for a reason. So that friend that I just told you about, the rat, I know that they would let me, she actually kind of looks like her now that I think about it, her hair and everything. She has dark, short hair. Anyway, but they had a situation like that they were with someone for a really long time that was an addict, and they loved them very much, but they just couldn't get clean, and they couldn't get clean, and they couldn't get clean. And when they were using, they would threaten my friend that they would kill themselves if they ever left them. And I remember saying, I'm like, dude, you can't let somebody else, you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like they're holding you captive, and that's unfair. I mean, energetically, like all the way around, that's unfair. I feel like the lament needs a little bit of a fire. I'm like, go towards the fire. Yeah, and they could be an air sign and you could be the fire sign. Like I feel that too. And again, you could still be male identified. It doesn't matter just because it feels like female energy. But they finally got enough courage to leave that person, this addict that they were with, and they didn't hear from them, years later, they were out and about and they ran into a mutual friend, and she was like, oh, how's he doing, and blah blah blah. And the guy was like, oh dude, I'm so sorry, I didn't know you didn't know. And she's like, no. And he's like, yeah. And he killed himself. But you know what, that is not their fault because they chose themselves over that person. My husband's first wife did the same thing. And, it's like when addicts, when somebody's in pain and somebody's suffering, it's like, we don't want them to suffer. Absolutely not. Right. But at the same time, we cannot live our lives for somebody else. Like, this crystal, like I said, it's like, you can be with somebody who's in this lament energy, but you got shit to do. You came here to be a powerful light worker. You came here to be yourself. I'm also getting the vibe from the first and the third card that like, you guys dress really cool. Like I get the vibe that like, or maybe you used to dress really cool and you're like, how come I don't take care of myself anymore? How come I don't, blah, blah, blah. Or when did I stop doing this for myself? Or when did I stop doing that? It's like, because you're giving too much of yourself to somebody else. And when we do that, it breaks our spirit. It breaks our energy field. And, you're just going to keep going in the same loop. So, it says by resolving issues in a diplomatic and graceful manner, satisfaction can be achieved. Through hard work, you begin to accomplish the success you've dreamed of, reap your rewards, and enjoy your fruits of victory. So, even though it was in reverse, it's like they're letting you know, like, it says, delight is experiencing victory after overcoming obstacles. Butterflies, a symbol of her metamorphosis, flit out from under her hat. Pizzazz, her little mouse friend, stands proudly on her candy cane wand as she dances with a triumphant heart. Yeah, so by resolving these issues with this person, you will finally break free. And you like Spirit said, I mean, you can't allow someone else's sadness. It's like, I feel like here, it's like Spirit is over here, like trying to get you to look over here. And you're like over here and you're like, what? And you're just ignoring it. You're ignoring them. You're ignoring the signs. This even feels like a sun, like a halo above your head, but you've got this veil on. It's like you're looking at the world from the outside in. Like you see somebody, the way they look, the way they dressed or whatever, and you're like, I want to be that. And Spirit's like, nobody is stopping you. Or, you're with someone or your family or your friends are like, stop being this, or you're too much. I saw something recently from somebody that said, if somebody says to you that you're too much, the next time say, or if they're like, gosh, you're just too much, be like, I'm sorry, you're so basic, you know? And that's not being a dick. It's just like being matter of fact. Like, you know, you're choosing to be basic. If I'm too much for you, move away. If I'm too much for you, then I'm the wrong, you know, friend, person, family member, whatever. And a lot of you know, I stopped talking to, when I look down, 3003, which is also the number 6. What did we just say? Right? And here, I'm going to read this. So 6 is our success, peace, happiness, communication, highly creative energy, harmony restored, new opportunities, hard work paying off after the hardship of 5, recharging our batteries. And this is what I call the PTSD mindset of letting it go. And this Gemini energy, this new moon in Gemini is begging us to let go of the past, speak our truth, get creative, you know, let go of old ideas and concepts, bring up new ideas, go from a new approach, you know, be curious, communicate, be the teacher and the student, the writer, the deep thinker, the receptor, and learn from this experience. We don't have to stay in something. And your last card is the 3 of Cups. So we have gleam, glitter, and glow. Look at these 3 energies. Also, before this, I heard God Rest You Merry Gentlemen twice in 2 different ways when my phone was on shuffle. Seriously, go back and listen to that, the reading for the collective. It was so amazing. But that's what I'm feeling is like, you're gonna, if you do this now in this energy, like after Mercury goes direct, don't do it until after Mercury goes direct, okay? Because it's just, you don't know, you know, it's just an interesting energy. If you can hold out, wait until like around the full moon in Sagittarius, June 14th, no matter where you live. It's more of like a celebration, definitely around the solstice energy. But what I got is that you are going to have, once you let go of that, because in this relationship, I feel like you're so lonely. It's like, this is you, and it's like, this is how you want to be, but this is how you are. And Spirit's like, but imagine when you're with people who are like you, and it's like, you know, see how everybody's calm, everybody's bringing something to the table. This one's bringing music, this one's bringing food, this one is bringing, looks like love and advice, good hugs. This one's, you know, bringing some like, hey, what's up, you know, beetle medicine. We also have a bee over here. Anytime I throw out animals or even, you know, fruits and vegetables, like apple is really powerful. We had a pumpkin in this one. Look at the little flying pumpkin. Did you see the little flying pumpkin? You know, there's always things going on in these cards, and they all hold meaning. So the 3 of Cups is about community. Look, she's got a cup for everybody. Where when you come together, you know, so I guess not all 3s are, not all, but I'm like, I guess not all uneven numbers are considered quote unquote, you know, not positive. So I'm going to grab that one. And also, you know, cups are about emotion. And I feel like wherever you are in this energy, friend, family member, lover, person, job, whatever it is, I feel like you're not allowed to like show your emotion. You're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to be yourself. I remember years ago, I went shopping with my mom, and I worked, you know, in a high-end job, and I had to wear suits and stuff like that. And I was getting frustrated because I was like, I just want to wear this. And she's like, well, you can't show your tattoos. And I said, you know what? I don't want to work somewhere where I can't be myself. And she's like, well, your tattoos aren't really you. I'm like, they are me though. I'm like, they're the story of my life. And I have like, one of my arms is almost a sleeve. And I was just like, no, I'm like, this is part of who I am. Like, I'm an artist. I'm magic, man. I'm a witch. I'm a healer. I'm a deep down believer and magic and love and all these things. And I'm like, I don't want to be in a fucking gross cubicle where the lighting, you know, makes my skin look green and all this. Like, I don't want to have a job where I can't take my jacket off because I'm going to get fired because my tattoos are showing. I was just like, I don't belong there. And I feel like that's for you guys too. It's like, if you don't belong there, you don't belong there. And you will continue to feel this way until you say, pow, and break out into this pizzazz and go and hang out with gleam, glitter, and glow. Right? So, and this was upright. So it says celebration, joy, abundance, partnership, and indulgence. Gleam, glitter, and glow dance together in celebration of their blessings and achievements. Their dancing and music regenerates the heart's magic and replenishes the spirit's joy. Waters of vitality spring forth from 3 cup flowers on glitter's head. Glow supplies a plethora of fruit, which is a symbol of abundance, and the scarab beetle dancing at their feet carries a message of regeneration and creation. So yeah, it's like music. They've got it all. It says, all that you've put effort toward begins to flourish. Celebrate your life's wellspring of nourishment with loved ones and friends. Happiness and well-being bring forth feelings of vitality and replenishment. Also, think about this. If you have a job where everybody is being themselves and everyone is, you know, like, I don't care. Like, one time I remember I got this download for a client to work at a coffee shop, and they're like, what would I do? Like, and they had like a real serious job. But they had enough money where they can like take off for a while. And I said, well, instead of taking off, I'm like, why don't you like, I'm like, what was like your dream job? They're like, I know this sounds crazy. I'm like, nothing sounds crazy. I'm like, tell me. And they're like, I think I want to be a barista. It looks so fun. I love coffee. I love coffee shops. I love the energy there. And I'm like, then do it. I go, just do it to at least keep money coming in. And I go, and you don't know who you're going to meet there. So this fear that you have of letting go of this is like, but look at all of this goodness around you. And you could leave a job and maybe you have friends from that job and you're like, oh, I'm afraid I'll lose my friends, or you know what I mean? But they're like, yeah, but then you go out into the world, you show your real self, you get the job that you're after, and then everybody, you see how they're more like them, right? They're more like, and they feel more comfortable and everybody can be themselves. And that's what they're saying is like, this energy right here is your new community. You'll get a new job and a new group of friends like that. Because these are the kind of people that you can trust, you know? And same with like, you know, relocating. Like for some of you, if you're thinking about relocating, do it. Do something outrageous. Spirit brought me on Tickety Talk and I wasn't really enjoying it. And then they started putting these really awesome angels in my path. And there's this beautiful, I don't remember their name now, but we just connected the other day and they quit their very posh $45 an hour job for I think they said they worked in politics or the government or something. And they're like, I'm an artist. I just quit. And I was like, fuck it. Like, I'm out. And I was like, yeah, like, good for you. Right. Because at some point it's time to move on. Also, I think it's interesting that we have 11, 10, 6, and 3. Like, it's going to feel like 11 to 10, like that. It's just going to be like one step. You're going to make that one change. But when you make that one change, you're going to skip down to 6, down to 3. And before you know it, bam, it's like, there's your new life. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you follow that pattern of what I'm saying there? And that's what Spirit wants you to look at. It may just feel like you're going down one thing, like, oh, you know, but it's like, you're going to jump from 10 to 6 to 3 and bam. You got this. You just have to believe in yourself because Spirit believes in you. I believe in you. It's time for you to believe in you. Okay, you guys, those are your messages. All of my information is in the description box below if you'd like to book any time with me or if you'd like to donate to this channel, contribute. I really appreciate it. Until next time, take good care of yourself and each other. Blessed be. Oh.